We are live.
Going live
We're 3 minutes late, folks.
from Las Vegas.
And we have an Aussie in between us. So if you
That's
hear
right.
panting in between in the microphone, we got an Aussie boy.
I'm trying to keep him calm.
Well, hey everyone, I'm Angela O'Hare.
I'm Rob Howe, Rockstar Realtor.
All right. Well,
Yeah, well,
sorry, he stinks.
does he? I don't want to know.
You don't want to know. So what's going on? Why were you late?
I have been absolutely inundated with work, and some interesting times in real estate. All good. I mean, ultimately,
Yeah.
strange.
I like the beard thing going on.
Ah, thanks. I'm trying to do my Clooney.
Well,
I'm more like get a Clooney.
get a Clooney.
That's more like what I am.
Well, so we're on time. We're going live on Facebook as well.
Oh, cool.
So hopefully we'll see how that works out for those of you that are on Facebook land that are watching us.
All right.
So did you ever get a chance to look at the numbers?
Well, you told me.
I told you one thing.
And I, normally I print out what they have there. I did not this time. So I'm gonna need to. Oh, we have them right here.
We have it right here.
So thankfully, Angela is well organized, and I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. This is why you have help, right? Because she was
now
doing
you know
this.
how I was.
Yes.
I have an assistant and a buyer's agent, so that's nice, and extra help when needed for showing. So I actually have a life this month.
That's great. It's a good month to have a life.
I haven't had a life in a long time.
I'm trying to rush around. I'm going to be rushing around. I got some of the gifts early, but some of them I didn't. So,
yeah. Well, luckily my kids have it all. So it's like, here, nothing.
you know what? Gift cards are extra popular right now, and they might be like a necessity for me this year because of like the supply chain stuff.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So people are like, I can't find it for you. So here's a gift card when it does come around.
Yeah, that's a big issue. But
right?
I'm sure you guys don't want to hear our...
No. What they want to hear about is incredible movements in the market.
Yes.
Did we have one of those? I think we had an incredible, what?
So last month... So welcome to our monthly market update.
Yes.
And in this issue, we're going to be going over... updating, and we were gonna wear our ugly sweaters today, but of course, this one was late.
I just wore my ugly. Hi, I'm here.
And we'll be going over November 2021 numbers. So November, believe it or not, Rob and I had a bet. If you guys remember last market update.
Oh, I forgot about that.
What did I say? I said that the numbers were going to go up, and you said you were going to go against me, but then you said probably just a little.
Yeah, yeah. I think yes, that sounds right.
All right.
I was wise to hedge it a little bit.
Well, we had another banner month last month, and the median price went from 410K to 420K.
420, baby.
420. That's up 0.9% from September.
And I'm going to tell you, that's high.
But it's only 0.9%. difference.
But you're missing.
I know.
All right.
I got it now.
Yeah. It's only 0.9%. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So actually that's a good way to look at it, because when you think about the offers that people are making, they're on average making 0.9% more higher offers.
Right.
And I think that has to do with that people are more free to put a higher offer in, but not have to pay those, over appraisal if they don't feel like they have to. The appraisers are giving credit for the strength of the market. So they're coming in and using their loan rather than cash. And I think they're a little more free to muscle that one through and get the offer accepted. Right.
I mean, it was shocking, especially considering what season we're in. We're in our traditionally slower season. But if you remember,
blasting right through it.
Last year at this time, I was cray.
Yeah.
So that puts us up 20.5% from year over year numbers. So that's huge. 20% increase in median price for year over year.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because we had already started taking off at this time of year. So we'd already seen some increases in the median home price by this time last year.
Right.
So overall, if you look a little further back, we've it's astonishing.
Yes.
So we're gonna blast right through the typically downtime. I think overall there probably has been a little less activity, but the sales are
Well, I think
strong.
December numbers are going to be strong.
Mhm.
But I think going into January, we'll just see our traditional January selling period where it's just not
a little
much.
slump.
Yeah, because people, I've noticed, of course, I don't, it's not based off of my business, but I've been actually, and you're busier.
Yeah.
I'm slower right now
Right.
because
It's anecdotal, so
yeah.
we can't do that, right?
Exactly. But that brings us to the number of single family homes that sold, and that was 3,077 single family homes that sold in November, which is down. That's wrong. Which is down 4 point. Wait a minute. Did I correct that?
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. But I got the months wrong. So let's get this handy dandy cheat sheet. Sorry, folks.
Oh, so that
that could have been
month number.
I may not have adjusted it when I did it. So there were 3,273 single family homes that sold in November, which is actually up 6.4% from the month before and up 7.8% from November last year. So the last couple of months these were negative numbers. So awesome sales and a higher median price was a very banner November.
Yeah, that's a strong one. I think a lot of people are trying to get in homes right before the year's end. I think also there's some tax implications for some people. Certainly for the sellers, there has been. As a matter of fact, one of the conversation I had on my way over here is with a seller who's like, they're ready to take the cash offer because it's a short escrow period and they can get it done before the end of the year. They're taking a discount just so they can get that done.
True. And I have a seller that's listed this month so that they can sell next month, which would be for a new year.
Right. Yeah.
All right, folks. You guys are quiet. Only 4 people watching today.
Well, it took a little bit of time for last time for us.
True.
Now there's 5.
True. This person has a joke about the thumbnail. Did you see what thumbnail I used?
I did not.
It's the one where when we were sitting on the couch and I was going like this and you were going like this.
Oh.
I thought it was fitting because our bet was the numbers were going to go like this.
I'm sure they are not until now.
No, but he was saying to have a joke about the thumbnail, but I'll keep it to myself.
No, please don't. I want to hear your joke. Now that you've said something.
When you do size, you got to think size, sexual innuendos, probably.
Yeah. That makes me think of my mother telling me I need to take Viagra because apparently there's studies that's saying that it helps with Alzheimer's. I'm like, Ma, she said it in front of people too.
Really?
Yeah, my mom's cray.
Speaking of cray, I'm going to show you the thumbnail real quick.
Thumbnail showing.
Which reminds me, we need to do new pictures.
Photos?
Yeah. It's that one.
So, folks, we're going to have meetings on air with you because this is how little we can get together and talk. So we're just going to talk about some things. Wow.
This is the only time we can meet. Yeah. All right, let's get back to the numbers. All righty. So with that said, that brings us to the luxury market. And let me make sure I'm in the right thing.
Yeah, because this is an old one.
This is an old one. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I think I emailed myself the wrong market update. So
well, we can crank off of that. Yeah.
We'll go with the flow. But there's a couple things I wanted to talk about, and that was on my list. But hey, you know what? Yeah. We'll go with the flow.
Can you pop it on your phone?
No, because it's on my laptop downstairs.
Gotcha.
All right. God, we're so ill prepared today. All right. The number of new listings on the market for November was 2,851. Shit. This is for November. No, this is right. This is right.
This is right.
Okay. Yeah. So we were down 20% from the prior month, but up 3.1% from year over year on the number of listings. So very little listings came on the market in November.
This is definitely something that I was looking to see what would happen because, again, this is more traditional that you can have sellers sort of backing off, saying we'll get it going in spring.
Right.
So that's a reflection of that in my mind.
Right. But the next number,
Mhm.
which is kind of shocking, well, not shocking, but it's interesting that the number of homes available that were listed without offers was 2,805. So there's 2,800 homes that didn't have offers. The month before, that was in the 3,000 range.
Right. So we did because we did have a stronger month, and
Yeah.
so it
We had
ate
more-
up that inventory,
exactly. With
and then you're
lesser
not getting it filled back up. So that's definitely telling you what's happening there. And not terribly surprising, and you think, oh well, there's still 2,800 properties that you could go out and buy, but we know what's going on with some of those. Some of those are overpriced, ugly,
need updating,
need a lot of work,
location,
you name it. Some of them are hanging over from a while back for how historic this market has been moving. Any hangover means there's something going on there, or they could have had a fallout. That is possible. So you always want to ask your agent what's happening with that property, and we'll tell you.
And that brings us down 14.7% from the prior month, and then 25.3% from the prior year. So we're starting to get anemic again.
Yeah. I think we will fill up a little bit more inventory wise as we turn into next year, but this is telling us that we're not going to stop seeing the market strength that we're seeing. Unless there's something that starts squeezing buyers on not being able to purchase.
Well, I think the one thing that could change this entire market is the interest rates.
Yeah.
Because if the people in California, back east, Chicago, New York, if the interest rates increase and then they're not selling their homes for top dollars and then not going to move here. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the train would start slowing down.
Right.
And so far haven't seen that happen because interest rates are so great. And this is what I tell people all the time. It's like, look at what, rent prices are right now. So, people are saying, well, the prices are high, but if you can purchase a property and ultimately your mortgage is less than what you're paying in rent, which it's almost, you can definitely make that happen. And it's something you're comfortable with long term, then it really doesn't. What matters is your ability to pay that monthly rent or monthly mortgage, and not necessarily the dollar amount that you're paying for the property. So the interest rates are allowing for that because they're so low. Right. Simply stated. If that changes, now you've got problems, right? Now you would start seeing inventory hang around a little longer, but less buyers being able to do that. But so far,
I think the problem that I'm seeing is I had a lot of clients that were wanting to relocate out of California. However, Vegas pricing has priced even Californians out of the market, not just the people that live in Las Vegas, but the people that want to relocate to Vegas. They're like, well, wait a minute. I'm having second thoughts. Maybe I should go to Texas. Maybe I should go to Florida,
for sure,
which have no state income taxes as well.
Some of those areas, though, are just as flying off the hook as we are.
Austin is selling like hotcakes down. Of course, the major cities are still selling very well, but they probably can still get more home now for their money than they would now in Vegas, because Vegas has become very unaffordable, in my opinion.
Certainly not as
polite
as it was before.
Right. I think about it when I bought one of my homes back in 2001, it was $170K. Of course, the interest rates were higher, but I was young. I was 27, 28 years old with a young parent. And my ex-husband and I were probably both making $50K each. I don't know how young families can afford it, because at that time, if I wanted to buy a home now and I was that person, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. No, it does. And I think there is a struggle to understand where our lower priced housing is going to come in to play. And that's obviously including the rental market. This is for time to figure out. And I think we're in this zone of where, only time will tell the tale. And really fully churn the soil, that, so to speak, that needs to happen here.
Well, the problem is that the millennials are the next generation below the millennials. I don't know what they call them. Does anyone know what they call that generation?
But,
Generation Y or?
Gosh, it's on the tip of my head. I don't remember.
But anyway, kids that are just graduating college, I mean, one, good luck for them finding a decent job. And two, I mean, young families, it's just, I don't know, it's just crazy. Even to find a place to rent, people have to work 2 and 3 jobs. What?
Snowflakes. That's what they said. Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah, I think that, well, coming out of college, you'd hope not, but I have heard, it's tough. It's not, but the job market has been better. So maybe the people are getting it settled into some better jobs. I don't know. This is a lot of stuff that
a lot of stuff you didn't think about today.
Well, it's outside of my purview, if you will, of being just a real estate agent, because this is a large, very large.
I mean, these are things I think about.
I think about it too, but I just don't know what the answer is. You know, I do know that they're getting help in some cases, from mom and dad. Mom and dad want them out, and they know, a lot of times mom and dad know that this is a good thing to own, rather than looking at these crazy rent rates and going, yeah, well, that's not what we should do. We should purchase a property. I'll help them with the down payment. And that's something that people should know. Down payment assistance from a family member, especially on a conventional loan, is like, you can give a lot. Right. You can give, I think it's pretty much as much as you want to help with. So this has been happening. I've been seeing it happen. But if you don't have that option, you're relegated to a tough rental market. Right. But that rental market is very motivating right now. So that's what I keep keying in on, is, well, until that goes away, until there's some ease up there, the housing market stays strong. Right. Because it still has that push of like, hey, you're paying all this money and rent, it's not getting any better. Right. So people are, they're looking for their way out. And the way out is often to buy a home. I don't know how I mailed myself hold on 1 second. 1 second, folks. Pausing. What is everyone's plans for the holiday season? Comment down below. Not that we can see the comments because we're pausing. I think I just pulled up something incorrectly. It's just bothering me that I don't have that. There it is. Trash. Where is it? I mean, something that I will say that it's a positive. If you're a buyer and you're thinking about purchasing, one thing that I've been able to get done lately, I don't know about your experience. Okay, cool. We got that. I'm going to fill a little moment here though. Okay. Is that closing costs? I've been able to get them. Really? Yeah. On 2 deals in a row, I've been able to get seller paid closing costs. Wow. Not something where after we got the deal done and then did the inspection, there was some closing costs given for the repairs or whatever. No, it was up front, and I was able to get fairly large closing costs. Now, in one case, the property was listed too high, so they made an offer that made sense and then built in their closing costs. Right. And it's coming back around. So this is good if you're a buyer and you want to ease up on some of those costs. So yes, the price of the properties are, they're high up here, but if you can get that low interest rate, and if you're in a market where you can start getting closing costs paid, now this is the ease you need to get into the home. Yeah. I had a client that we put in an offer for a home. We'll read those in a minute. Yeah. We'll get to you. That's an interesting one. Yeah. I like that. Let's see. It was $565, and there were some issues with repairs, so we lowered the price by $10K. So that was pretty. So you did it on the price side. Yeah. So one of the things that I would suggest all the time, and I mean, I think we talked about this. Yeah. Yeah. Is to not necessarily go after price, but go after closing costs, because sometimes people just want to look good for their neighbors. Right. I even have a client right now at this moment. She said, look, Rob, I don't want to lower the price. I don't want to devalue my neighbors. Like, I want them to know that we got as high as possible, and I helped them out. I said, okay, I think we can work this out.
Yeah.
And actually, they didn't have to pay any closing costs, but either way. So that's, I don't know, we're just rambling on about a couple of things.
All right, so let's get back to the numbers.
Yes.
I finally found the correct PDF.
Yay.
So let's get into the luxury market.
Yeah.
Last month, the luxury market, there were 142 homes that sold, over $1 million and up, and compared to October's 107. So, gosh darn it.
Decline.
That was a 30. Gosh, sorry, we're just like not with it today. I think you being late, like put
it's my fault.
There was a 35 home increase in the luxury market, but the median price decreased to 1.3 mil and change, and was at 1.425 mil in October. So it decreased by 120,000 in the median price for luxury homes in November.
Okay. Yeah, I think the numbers are what's important there. The amount of sales going up is what's important.
Right.
We're going to have some fluctuations in that territory because of these sort of newbies to being $1 million homes,
Yeah.
And I think some of that comes from people pricing their property emotionally. They feel like their property's worth what they think it is, and then the market speaks to them, and then they maybe don't get exactly what they're looking for, but they still sell it at a good price.
But people have like false beliefs that their house, one, is worth more than what it is, and two, that the market's doing so good that it's going to keep on going 20%. But there's no guarantees that the market's going to keep on going the way that it is. I mean, this was like an anomaly, in my opinion, to have such a huge $10,000 increase, because the months before it was just like $1,000, $1,500 increase.
Yeah, I had a moment with a seller where I was like, I finally had to say to them, you're getting the highest price ever for property in your neighborhood ever.
Right.
Historically speaking, ever in Las Vegas, you are the highest sale in your neighborhood. And they go, oh, maybe you should have said that sooner, Rob. And I said, oh, yeah, maybe I should have said that sooner. So, so perspective, right?
Yes.
We can lose perspective. It is understandable. Sometimes people will see that they'll go, well, you know what? I was thinking about putting my house on the market a few months ago. I'm glad I didn't, because the market went up, and now I may, if I put it on now. But then they start thinking, well, if I put it on now, the same thing could happen. So then they say, well, I'm going to price my price into the future.
Price.
Yeah.
Well,
you got to be careful, and I think you just look. You have to have good guidance on that. And if you have the right guidance, you have somebody you feel confident that is giving the right information, like Angela or myself,
right,
you're probably going to be feeling pretty good, and you're going to get what you're looking for.
Yep.
Maybe more.
So that brings us to the months of supply. Last month we were at 1.1 months, and now we're down to 0.9 months again.
Okay, so that's the first time we've seen that in a while, right?
Well, it was just a couple. The reverse. We went back down because we were hovering around 0.9 for a minute, but then we went up to 1, and then 1.1, and now we're back to 0.9.
This is definitely an unexpected thing for me. I thought that the trend was happening, and this is where
it makes sense because more homes sold.
Yeah.
Just like I said, not enough listings that came on the market. So this all is tied in together.
Yeah.
So that puts us at 19.8% down from October, and down 30.7% from the prior year.
It just came to me. I think I know why this is happening, because we really haven't had a proper holidays time for a while.
Right.
Like last year, we just didn't really have that.
No.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of concentration on, we're not going to worry about this right now. People are sort of putting down their bags for moving and saying, or
at least the sellers are.
Yeah, certainly the sellers are. They're saying, we'll put it off for now. But I think the buyers have been too. And I have been my little part of my educational series, if you will, which is what we do here.
Right.
Is to say, hey, if you're looking for that deal right now, might be the time, because people are not as they're not getting out there as much. There's lulls. There's the Thanksgiving lull. There's the Christmas and New Year's lull. So if you can get out there and be the one that's active during that time, you might find that you get closing costs paid, get a lower price, less activity.
I had a lot of clients the week of Thanksgiving. I was booked out.
Yeah, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I can tell you that overall it seemed less robust out there when I was dealing with people.
Right.
But still, I mean, yeah, I'm not talking about that it just stopped.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But so
anyway, so that brings us to the 76.8% of the closings for the month of November was on the market for 30 days or less. And that number in October was 79.9. And the year over year is 68.8. So we're still having almost an 8% increase of sales selling from compared to last year on the market, staying on the market shorter periods of time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, if they're good, they're going.
Right.
There's no doubt about it.
All right. So now that's the market update. We never really talk about condos or townhomes, but I've posted a link down in the description below that has all the numbers if you want to learn more about that. But
very hot market.
I want to go over new construction, and overall builders closed 9,854 sales in Southern Nevada this year through October, which is actually up 16% from the same stretch in 2020. And they pulled 12,481 new home permits, which is up 33%. So the median closing price for last month for new construction was $440,599, which is up 11.5% from a year earlier. So the median price for resale homes is $420, and the median price for new construction is $440.
Yeah. So, there's always a premium for new.
Right.
Of course. That actually sounds less than what I would think.
Right.
20,000. I would think it's usually more. But
exactly. And depending on the area, because you do have some of those builders, Beazer, KB.
They're trying to build
the lower end builders that are in the more affordability range.
Yeah, those are flying. So they're building their asses off. In case you're wondering, that's what I would call that. What are the builders doing? Building their asses off.
Yes. And my thought is, and I do a lot of new construction sales, a lot of walkthrough, a lot of delays, ovens, microwaves, refrigerators, everything's back ordered, garage doors. I'm thinking, yes, I'm in real estate, and yes, I want to sell this new construction, but there has to be a point where people just need to stop for a minute. You know what I mean?
No, it's not happening. Nobody's stopping anything.
I know. I mean, everyone wants the bottom line and the dollar. And of course, yes, I like the money, but my opinion is just like, how much more new construction are we going to have?
Well, there's a very simple answer to that. The equation is land to build on.
Eventually, yes.
We are going to run out of land in Vegas. This is a longer term thing that I always talk about, which is that eventually we run out of land. This kind of happened in a number of places. I think San Francisco was one of the areas where they just filled up. And once they were filled up,
they went up.
The market,
not the market, but the homes went up.
Yeah, now they build up. And You're so right, because they'll tear down an old house and then they build it right up.
Right.
But I don't expect that kind of thing for a while here, but I do expect in maybe another 15, 20 years we're filled up here. And that is now, we're done. You can't build in Las Vegas. You'd have to be on the way outskirts into basically other cities. But that's where, what's going to happen in between now and then, I don't know. But when we get to that point, I think we could keep going up.
Right. I mean, once there's in the prime locations and everyone wants to be in a certain area, which some people already do, because Summerlin has another 15 to 20 years to go. They have 5,000 acres left. So then once that's done, that's the whole west side.
Yeah.
Then we're going north. We're going past the 215, past Skye Canyon, which Sunstone's there, Mount Charleston, and then you got all of the land in North Las Vegas and the 215 in Nellis.
There's a fair amount out that way.
Yes. but we
Yeah.
don't know how much of that's owned by the Air
Right.
Force Base. And then you got land south of Henderson, which would be by the M. I heard there's going to be some new buildings over
there's
there.
a ton of stuff going on.
And
there.
then
Yep.
also on the Henderson, the other side by going closer to Lake Mead.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And all that those two areas specifically are slated for a lot of projects.
Right. So that's the new construction.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get into the interest rate, which we kind of like brushed up on. So basically, sorry, this microphone's in my way. U.S. mortgage rates remain historically low, but are up from a year ago. The average rate of a 30-year home loan in October was 3.07, up from 2.83% a year ago. So they are up marginally, yes, and they're going up.
So,
but the good thing is that FHA, breaking news, announced that they increased their loan limit by 18% to $420,680.
Geez, that's right on the median.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like Vegas sets that median or something.
So that, I mean, if you're going the FHA route, then that's good news that the price increase for loan. For sure, because people were, you just weren't able to find a house that was of certain, a level without basically abandoning an FHA so that's good. So maximum purchase price with 3.5% down is $436,000, and this will all take into effect next year. Okay. And then also conventional mortgage loan limits increased again to $640,200. 647. 647. What did I say? 640. Oh, 647,200. And the maximum purchase price, max purchase price with 5% down is 681,300, and max with 3% down is 667,250. Now, if you only put the minimum down payment 3% or 5%, that's where you're capped. Yeah. Capped. However, you're going to have PMI. Oh, private. Yeah. Actually, anything 10% and below, you're going to have PMI. 20% below. I thought you could be right. Yes. 20%. Once you put 20% down, then you have no PMI. Yes. But I'm just saying, just because they increase those limits, you still got to think about having PMI. Yes. So I think at the 10%, there's a cut on the PMI. Right. Like there's less for, if I'm right. And then 20%, there's none. And the other thing that to put is to say that you can go up in your purchase price by a lot if you're just use cash to bridge that gap. By the way, you can basically, have go to $1 million if you just pay the difference. But there is, at that point, you're probably looking at a jumbo loan, and that's probably going to make more sense. Well, yeah, because that's why they're saying the max, and after anything over that's going to be jumbo. Yeah. Depending on your down payment, obviously, though, because if you are putting 20% down, and the max is what, 647, then obviously you can buy more of a house, right? Right. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. But the VA loan, there used to be a max or a cap on a VA loan, but I don't know. I don't think they have that anymore. I think there's a cap on the loan amount, but there's no cap on how much you can purchase. Like, I think above. Okay. We're getting into a little lender territory here. Maybe we should have a lender next. Yeah, that's why we get a little fuzzy on it, because it's not something that, like, the lenders, not our area of expertise. Well, they're going to deal with it every day. They know this stuff. They have to know this stuff. Right. VA has no PMI. Yeah, we didn't mention that, but that is true. VA, no PMI. Oh, yeah, true. Totally. No VA is a very advantageous loan. Yeah. I love working with VA buyers. And there's a number of reasons why. Years ago when I started the VA, and still to this day, they still sometimes have a negative outlook by sellers. They go, I don't want to take the VA because, there's a couple of costs, minor. There's a couple of condition things that can be, but for the most part, they're a fantastic loan, and the appraisals can usually come in very strong. So yeah, the only thing, and I tell my sellers, the only thing that comes out of pocket typically on a VA loan is escrow fees. Usually they're typically split between buyer and seller. They're maybe around $1,000. You would, as a seller, you would pay for the whole thing for the VA person, and then also the termite inspection, which is around
Right.
$90. That's probably pretty
something
much
like
it.
$1,200 extra
Yeah,
cost, right? So,
exactly.
yeah. So you know what? We got a bunch of stuff here. I
Yeah,
think
well,
we
we're
should.
done with our numbers, so let's get into
Yeah,
the
I'm excited
questions.
to answer some of this stuff because you guys
Alrighty.
are bringing it here.
Well, let's just start in order so we don't get confused.
Yeah.
Slowdown is coming. I told you guys. Slow down. What slow down, Air Jordan? There's no slowdown here. Let's make a
Yeah.
wager, Mr. Air Jordan. What should we bet on if it's coming? When
Well, the when is the big question.
is when do you think it's coming?
Because you
Right.
push it out a little bit for me, and I could say I'm not willing to make that bet just yet.
True.
Right?
True. And then he says 30-year fixed 3.3%. Even at 3.3%, I mean, a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, we were happy at 4%.
Yeah. Yeah. Just under. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think where you're going to start seeing changes and people getting pushed out is once we get over 3.5 or we start approaching 4,
Right.
for sure.
I bought a place from Open Door for $25K less than they paid a month ago.
This is something I absolutely wanted to say that has been happening. Yes, there were Open Door and Zillow was doing a lot of this. Is why they got in trouble. They were competing with each other, and sometimes they got stubborn and just bought the property. They didn't care. They just wanted to beat out their competitor. So if you were lucky enough to get that kind of deal, or if you were lucky enough to sell the property to an iBuyer, which I always say no, I call them pawn shops. Don't sell to a pawn shop. But in this case, there was some rare moments where they were overpaying for a property, and it sounds like you on the other end got the deal because they overpaid for it and then finally had to let it go and at $25K loss.
Right.
But they are literally buying up areas like I was just reading about Havasu, Lake Havasu out here. They were going in and just buying up as much property there as possible because it's a relatively small market, right?
Right.
And when you know that you can control that market, now you're in control of the prices ultimately, and they've skyrocketed over there. Like median is like $500K over there.
Wow. And
so not only that, but the people buying second homes and vacation homes, and because of the fact that people can live anywhere now, these vacation areas usually were retirement or vacation areas have now become popular for people to move to,
right?
Because they can work out of anywhere. There's people, the ski resort areas blasted off because you could now buy a home in Mammoth Mountain, California, and live there full year round and go ski.
Yeah, but you don't have to worry about friggin' fires.
Yeah, okay. I guess, yeah.
I have people that live in Tahoe and they're ready to sell because they're tired of dealing with the fires.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Mammoth's had the issue with the fire, but anywhere, I guess, where there's forest going on, right, you could. So yeah, you'd have to calculate that. But for some people, they're like, peace, I'm sick of the city.
Right.
I'm going to snowboard in the morning.
How's Sunstone coming along? To be honest with you, it's in the back of my mind to go take a tour of it. Probably next week because I'm kind of slow. So maybe next week. I have a lot of closings this month, so I'll just be dealing with my closings.
They're building.
I want to do a drive-through tour of Sunstone soon, so stay tuned to that. And
this is one we get a lot.
Yeah, Skye Canyon versus Summerlin. Someone said Summerlin all the way, but depending on what your needs are. I like both communities. I do cover both areas. Obviously, we both do. I do a lot of videos on Skye Canyon. You do get more bang for your buck in Skye Canyon than you do Summerlin because Summerlin is a little overpriced. The Skye Canyon has beautiful amenities, the community center, the parks. They have tennis courts, pool, exercise facility. So it's a great, and I like the location of Skye Canyon too.
Yeah. For all those reasons, it's definitely something that you want to take a look at. Summerlin is Summerlin for a reason, though. Some people, if you want the upper echelon, you want the best, you're probably looking in Summerlin,
right?
Because Skye Canyon overall is just not going to compete on the level of Summerlin. But for a fabulous place to live, that is going to have, for all the reasons you just mentioned,
right?
It's absolutely should be a place.
Every time I go up there, I always tell whoever I'm with, I just love it up there.
Yeah,
I like the views, the mountains.
Yeah, and that's half of living somewhere is that feeling, right? So And Summerlin started out that way. I would tell you all the time, I would drive up. My mom bought a house in Summerlin in the early 90s, and I was like, what is this?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And we talked about this in our previous market update. I've always lived, not always, but for the good chunk of my life here in Vegas, in the Desert Shores area.
West Side.
The West Side. We would call this the Northwest.
It was the beginning of the Northwest.
It was the Northwest, but now it's more west than Northwest.
For sure.
I would think.
Yeah.
But Summerlin was just a name. Oh, what's Summerlin? Who, you know what I mean? It was Desert Shores, the lakes were they were all up and coming neighborhoods that people were more interested because they had all the water, the
water
lakes.
Features.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. And then Summerlin to me didn't take off until like 2000. I mean, it had been around and developing all the different villages, but to really know about Summerlin, that's when it kind of
the full picture started becoming more clear. It definitely, and as through the 2000s, it just really started really blasting off. But I mean, there was a lot of wonderful parts of it that were getting built that just weren't being recognized as much.
Right.
And that maturity of that area over time, just kept putting the stamp of approval through the years that this is an amazing territory. And then you get a lot of investment in the areas. You have the downtown Summerlin, you have so on and so forth, all these things. And, now the picture's really complete.
Well, I think when I really paid attention to Summerlin is when they were going to start building downtown Summerlin, I think in the early 2001 timeframe, and then 9/11 hit. And then that's when we kind of had a crash going on. So they put their halts on it.
It was more the actual crash that made its halt. It was originally going to be
2006 timeframe.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, right after that is when they put the halt on it. It got sold back to Howard Hughes Corporation or something.
Right.
I have a whole thing on my website about it, but it's and you can certainly Google about what the history of but they had a different name for it.
Right.
Then they reimagined the whole thing of what Summerlin is.
Downtown
that area,
Summerlin,
it was going to be downtown Summerlin now because it was going to be originally be like Summerlin Center.
Yeah, I have it on my website too.
Yeah, Summerlin something or another. Summerlin Center or Summerlin. I can't remember what exactly they were going to call it, but I think this is one of those kind of rare cases where a failure, in other words, something that the investment went bad and went south. And really looked awful for a bit. I don't know if you remember, there was that building that they stopped building.
Yeah, I didn't travel out for 2006, 2008. I was in Arizona. So
yeah, there was a building there for years after the crash that, it's like, what's going to go on here?
Right.
This is just like dead zone. They stopped everything. But I think it's one of those cases, rare cases where they actually sat back, thought about it. They had to make a good decision because now they don't, at the time, 06, 08, everything was bursting, right? It was a big blooming, like, hey, the money's free, and then they had to make a very smart decision and make sure they made the right decisions. And I think that ultimately ended up being a better area.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, and the thing too is during that time frame, when the crash happened, the Howard Hughes Corp bought so much land.
Yeah.
All that land.
They bought it all back.
They
originally, I think it was sold off, and then they bought it all back, and they got it at dirt cheap and held on to it. And then again, making the right decisions to develop that area. I think it was a bonus that we unwittingly ended up with.
I mean, they're a very smart corporation. I think they plan accordingly, plan all of this right. Okay, let's get to
it. Gets easier to be smart when you get your land for dirt cheap.
True. Let's see what Zam Man says. Good afternoon. Planning on retiring and possibly moving that direction in 6 to 8 years. When is a good time to come out to visit neighborhoods, and should we go get an agent to show us around?
So that's a long time away. I think you absolutely should get your eyes on Vegas and really make sure it's going to be a good.
But the question is, do you plan on buying now?
I'm working towards it.
Okay.
No, I know where you're going. You're already ready to say no. Don't bother me. I'm not driving. I'm not chauffeuring you anywhere.
Go ahead.
So yes, it's hard for us, especially with the level of business that we have, and any agent that's doing well right now. It's going to be hard for them to just say, hey, hop in my car, let me show you around. unless you got a really personal relationship with that agent, I think that's probably a lot to expect for them to just show you around if you're still a ways off from buying. And one of the reasons is because you may decide it's not for you. And that's kind of a bummer, right? So there are ways you can do that. And certainly get in contact with an agent, have like us, listen to what we're telling you about the areas that are solid. If you need to know more, you can certainly email or call us and we'll tell you about areas that you should be looking at. But expecting us to have you hop in the car or us to do the same and drive around, there's a multitude of reasons why that is a little bit of painful for us.
Well, a lot can happen in 6 to 8 years.
Yeah.
So my question is that do you plan on buying now, renting it out, and then moving here in 6 to 8 years? Sure, we'll show you around. But if you're not planning to move here in 6 to 8 years, it's just a waste of everyone's time. I mean, I think it'd be just important for you to drive around and we can give you advice on what communities to look at. But 6 to 8 years, who knows what will happen? And
there's exactly. There is so much unpredictable things. There's just a lot that you can't predict.
Right.
And I think you're already doing the right thing. Keep looking at this type of stuff for people that you click with. If we're agents that you click with, make that relationship now. There's no reason why you can't talk to us and ask us as many questions as you want.
Right.
There's no problem. We have absolutely no problem answering questions. What we want to do is we want to stay sharp for you, right? That's why we do this.
Right.
And we want to be able to bring you the information you need. But physically getting into a car and looking at property when you're well off, that's unrealistic. Unrealistic. Yes. There you go.
There you go. All right. Someone said do a drive-through tour of Aliante. Yes, I plan on doing that again. It's all about timing. It's it's hard. I can't do as much as I like. I need to have someone just do the videos for me, but then it wouldn't be me.
You gotta be doing it.
I gotta be doing it. So, but my goal is to do Aliante. I have another vision in mind of doing just Summerlin Village neighborhood drive-through tours. I've done Summerlin Village's videos, but now I want to do, because I just started out with Red Point Square, and Stonebridge. So I want to do that. And since Summerlin's so close to me, it's easier to do than to go all the way to Aliante. But it's in the near future. Stay tuned. I have lots of ideas and lots of videos. It's just hard to record and do it.
Yeah. It's a time consumer for sure.
Yes. Let's see what else. 1-bedroom apartments in downtown Summerlin, Tangier apartments, $2,100 a month.
$2,100 a month. Yeah. Yep. Those are those ones that are right in downtown Summerlin. If you want to be in the heart of the action in a modern living in there, you can certainly do that. A 1-bedroom for $2,100 a month.
It's close to everything though.
Yeah. Well, then that's the thing. That's what there's not a lot of those, by the way. There's not a ton of those units.
Yeah.
So although I know there are some available there, not really something that we rent when it's an apartment. Even if we had the time to show rentals, which we don't. That's a apartment, so you're gonna have to go directly to them. But that being said, that's a product for a specific person that wants to be in that area, and that's why the cost.
Yeah. So next question, and please, we're about to wrap this up. So if you guys have any questions,
bring them on now.
Bring them on.
We're almost done here, so bring them on.
Resell or new in Summerlin? I'm a fan of both. I don't think you can go wrong with either.
You're absolutely.
It depends on your budget, really.
Absolutely right. Depends on a number of things. I think that what's important to note is there are certain products, certain houses, property that you cannot get new. You're not going to get a new like custom built or property that would be in certain gated neighborhoods in Summerlin. So in that way, what a lot of people do is they buy these beautiful, amazing homes. Well, but they're not updated, and then they update them to new.
Right.
These neighborhoods are so popular, you always know they're going to turn over.
Yeah.
And what that means is new buyer comes in and they make it modern.
Right. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with either or. Just got to remember that when you do buy new construction, regardless of Summerlin or anywhere in the valley, the property taxes are going to be a lot higher. They're going to be 1% of total purchase price than if you were to buy resale. And personally, anywhere in Summerlin, the resale homes, even if it was built in 1990, those neighborhoods tend to stay better than anywhere else in the valley.
Yep.
The integrity of the community.
That's kind of the thing about Summerlin and why it's been able to hold so well. You know, a lot of people come in and look at these properties and say, I can, you know, it's all about the location.
Right.
Give me the right floor plan and I can adjust what's needed and make it modern. And you see that a lot. And it's actually fun to be involved with.
I'm going to do a video one day of pros and cons of living in Summerlin or buying in Summerlin. The one con to buying new construction is that the homes are closer. And if you watch any of my videos, most of the houses are super close by. The streets are a lot narrower. You don't get as much land as if you were to buy resale an older neighborhood.
Yep. I'm generally a fan of the resale.
Me too.
I love everybody loves a new home, right? Everybody loves a brand new home. It's easy. You're going to pay the premium for it. There are going to be a couple of different, like you were saying, compromises that you're making because you maybe don't get as much land. You're a little closer to your neighbor. But so, you know, buying a resale and doing what you want with it, don't be afraid to do that, especially if you're an experienced buyer. I think some of the people that are first-time buyers have a little trouble with that. But if you're experienced and you know where you want to be, and you know the type
it's all about location.
Yeah, get that location number one, numero uno, in my opinion. And not just my opinion. I think they say it 3 times for a lot of reasons.
Well, you know, my home was built in 92. I live in the South Shores, Desert Shores area. Your home was built in
84.
84. So yeah, we both have really older homes.
Brand new.
And his is super close to Boca Park, Tivoli Village. I mean, it's a great location. He has the Summerlin amenities without being in the Summerlin price.
That's what I did. Summerlin without the price. For where I am in my life right now, I don't have a family going or anything where I need to be by these schools and stuff. And actually the schools where I'm at aren't bad, but this was perfect for me. So there are those opportunities too. I say, you know, if you're looking for that kind of deal, you're not necessarily going to get some big price reduction or anything but look for the other things that are important, you know, getting the area right, or maybe being very close, just adjacent to the best area in town. That's what I did. And I'm doing my courtyard right now. They're working on it. Nice. It's finally getting done.
I got with my CPA, and I owe some money to the tax man.
We all do.
I'm putting a halt on any renovations for right now until I get my taxes paid.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I know.
You're gonna be just fine.
All right, let's look.
Yeah.
Okay, still a multiple bid scenario in Vegas. Or are there things cooling off? I see some small price decreases in some areas hotter than others. For sure. If answered earlier, our watch just hopped on.
No, this is a good question. We did not address that. It is cooling off but remember, from historic, absolutely insane places that we were at. Okay. Right. So we're still hot. It's still a strong market. But yeah, I don't see as much of the multiple bid scenarios unless you get that really hot commodity property in a hot area, right? So he's kind of going through it all right there. You're kind of helping us answer the questions. Yes, area to area, it can be different.
Yes.
So some of these things, when I say you can get closing costs paid now, it's going to be specific to the area and the hotness of that area.
Right.
So maybe not so much a well-priced home in Summerlin. Don't fool around.
Right.
You can't fool around. You got, and
let's see, are there places to rent while you wait for a new build? So here's the thing most people don't know, and I apologize, we're going long, but we'll try to keep it under an hour. So we got
I bought a whole neighborhood just for people to move into and rent while I sell them houses. No, actually, I wish I did that.
All right, so Nevada laws are very strict on Airbnb. Okay, they're very strict on short-term rentals. Most of the HOAs, if not all, are very strict on short-term rentals. Most of them require you to do a year lease. So with that being said, it's very difficult to find short-term rentals in Las Vegas. It's not impossible, but difficult.
Right. And you're going to pay a lot more for them.
Yes.
So the short-term rentals are there. There may be some sort of relief coming on this. I think in July, the part of Las Vegas is allowing for, they're doing something with Airbnbs. These short-term rentals are going to allow for them like they did in Henderson. I'm not sure what that means just yet, but That has been something some investors, one of my clients, they're getting ahead of it. They want to buy now and get in these areas because they know it's already been approved. It's happening.
Right. So I know for a fact in Summerlin, if you buy a home, they technically, and you may find it, but they technically are not allowed to do anything under a year.
Yeah. Yeah. So when they are doing it, they're asking for a pretty penny because they're taking that risk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a serious risk
yeah.
because you can lose your home, get liens and infraction. I mean, you can lose your house to an HOA.
Yeah, they can really make it hard on you.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah.
And they so you can do it. You're going to pay for it. That has been part of the struggle. It's also part of the why I think we've had such a hot market, because people realize they can't just come into town and gently rent for a little bit while their property. No, they have to make an offer, get something accepted, and boom, get into it. Right.
Yeah.
As soon as possible.
Yeah. I mean, there are short-term rentals, especially there's some on the strip. I had clients that, and they're furnished, which is nice, but they're about $5,000-$6,000 a month.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You can find some that are a little less. They're not going to be, on the strip in a nice area necessarily.
Right.
I mean, it's hit or miss. But in generally speaking, you're not going to find a good price on any of that.
Yeah.
It's going to be an expensive.
Yeah. How hard is it to find help for remodels due to the new home boom? That's an awesome question.
It's a great question. I know I've been jumping right to. I've been doing a lot of this lately. So sometimes in the past, we could be able to kind of estimate for our clients a little bit. They'd say, well, how much, Rob, do you think this will cost? And because I've done so much of that, I can kind of give them a zone, and I'll very much caveat that, hey, don't quote me on this because I'm not the guy doing the work, but this is in general where our numbers are. Can't do it right now.
Yeah.
Because they're coming in higher prices. They're coming in. I got to get the bid done for you. I just had a roof that we had to get the bid on. Guys, my client's asking me, well, how much is it going to cost for? I'm like, look, we got to get that bid.
It's called inflation.
Yeah. Everything's inflating. Everything's costing more. So yes, there has been trouble getting workers, and that's part of the higher cost, and including the materials.
Well, because all these workers are working on the new construction.
They're working on new construction and everything else.
Yeah.
They're building. By the way, we're building a lot of stuff here too. Building
commercial.
And we got that big Omni Dome or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bunch of projects going on. Vegas has been famous for having a lot of projects, and we have them going on. So there's a lot of building, a lot of people needed for that. And so you can expect that you're going to need to wait a little more time for some of these vendors. Okay. So that's a good question.
Yeah, because I will be posting next week. I went through a kitchen remodel at the beginning of this year, and I'm finally posting that video. But it's because of the availability of my contractors. It took like 2 months to get that bad boy done.
Yeah,
and also things were back ordered too, like my vent hood.
In a more normal time, it might have taken 2-3 weeks.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. So it's just because you're waiting on people. So that's a good question. Anything else before we sign off? I try to keep it under an hour. So
we're okay. That would be your fear. Well, okay. So this is the thing though. You have to have the right guidance with you. I think, if you're not here in town, you got to have the right people that can help you. I mean, like us, and get you feeling comfortable so that you don't have that fear, because I don't think it's something that is such a big fear that it should stop you from doing what you're trying to do. If that is if that's something that you desire to do, because you can get it done, but you have to have those things in advance, understandings of how that's all going to unpeel, and maybe even have those conversations with some of these people.
Yeah.
Getting comfortable with them.
I mean, we could be totally wrong.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say too, this time of year, you can usually, traditionally, you can get people this time of year to do work more easily because they slow down. It hasn't quite been.
The weather has been gorgeous, so work is keep on going.
Yep. Yeah, definitely schools. That's something I always have people research on their own for the most part, because I just can't keep it all in my head. Which school is this year rated better than another, but certainly schools are, you're going to look and find that in certain areas, schools are more highly rated, right?
Just go to greatschools.com or niche.com and they'll rank the schools. What are the top by 10 as the best
Yeah.
school or whatever.
Summerlin has a lot of options if you're looking for like
Private.
just the options, public and private, and different kinds of private schools as well. So
Right.
That's very important to note about Summerlin.
Right. They have 11 private schools in Summerlin, to be exact, and 14 public schools.
I didn't even know. I see right there. That's why she's good.
Well, I just did a video. See all my videos. It's going to be called 10 Things You Need to Know About Summerlin. So
there's one. You just revealed. Look, this is what you get for watching this, folks.
You get little nuggets here and there. But anyway, everyone, we hit our hour max. Sorry, we tend to talk too much, and we apologize that Rob was late.
I'm sorry.
But we wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a happy holiday season. Yes. I can't believe it's already, the 8th?
That's right, December 8th. I like 8s.
8th, yes. Your birthday will be coming up in March. March 8th is
right.
Rob Howell's birthday, just in case.
Yeah.
You didn't know that.
Looking to give me a gift. Just wink at me. I'll take that as a gift.
Let us know in the comments what you feel about going live. I've noticed that once we started going live, we don't have the viewership, but I like going live because I like answering the questions live.
Yes, thank you for your questions. Your awesome
participation.
Yeah. Glad
we appreciate it. Let us know in the comments how we did. As always, thank you so much for watching.
Rock on.
And do it peacefully.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Boom, 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 boom.
Later, Gators.